Hola, hola.
Oh, there you are. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Welcome, everyone. Here we are from a beautiful setting in Guadalajara, Mexico. I want to welcome all of you. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. I see Geshe Michael with us. Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you for coming very early in Arizona. Here I'm lucky because it's a little bit later. The sunrise is coming. I see Daniel Garcia with us. Welcome, Daniel. Thank you for being here. We have a special guest today. We have also Rob Haggerty with us. We're going to have Chloe with us. We're going to have many more friends and panelists. So today is a special day because, it's a special event because we wanted to celebrate the upcoming springtime in the Northern Hemisphere. Here we are. And not only that, but we decided, we were talking, Daniel and I were talking and trying to figure it out what was a good theme for this particular event. And hey, Daniel, do you want to say something about it? Like, what's the theme
It
and why do we choose it?
sure. Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Juan, for all your hard work. I just want to really thank Juan because he's been doing most of the work as the director of the show. You know, he's taken on the responsibility, and if it wasn't for Juan, we wouldn't have such a cool show. And actually, I kind of got my feelings hurt because Juan was doing so much work and not communicating with me very well. So then I thought I need to work on my communication karma. And I complained about it to Juan. And then Juan was like, well, why don't we do the show on communication? I was like, you are a genius. Let's do that. So that way we can put these communication seats a little bit to rest. So it's really for me. That's why we're doing this show.
Thank you, Daniel. No, actually, I think we all at some point when we are trying to develop like professional projects or in our personal lives, time to time we may face some challenges in our communication. I notice like many of the problems we have in our life are connected to communication because we are social beings in some way, like so we tend to get sad or upset when our own personal relationships, our own personal projects are not going well. And many times it's due to problems or situations related to communication. So in this program, we're going to try to explore how to plant good seeds with our words, with communication, how to listen, how to avoid planting bad seeds, try to understand a little bit more on what's actually happening when we're trying to communicate, how do we exchange information with one another, and how we can use this ancient wisdom to improve, create harmony, and be successful in this process. Geshe-la, would you like to say any introduction, like just to say hi to people, and then we move to some news?
Okay, good morning. I just woke up, so I'm kind of sleepy, but I'm very proud of these two guys and Johnny O for making the show. And I really enjoy the show. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't wake up so early. But I think the communication is really, really a good idea. And I can already think of different ways that we can talk about communication. And I think it's a great subject for all of us. I think we all have trouble with communicating sometime. So I think that's a great solution to a problem is to have a show about it. So
Yay.
thank you. Back to you, Hassan.
Okay, thank you very much. So we're gonna have more guests. They are not here in camera right now, but you're gonna see them and probably recognize them in a little bit. But for now, let's just start with a few of the World View Network news that are happening these days. Okay, and I want to extend my gratitude to Gina because she has been helping us so much with the production and with sharing this news. Actually, she's letting us use her house as the setting, as this beautiful setting. So thank you, Gina, very much. Okay, so first of all, we want to talk about this wonderful project. It's called the Xuanzang Tower Translation Project. where Geshe Michael, along with 12 translators, are going through the very, very classics of ancient wisdom. There are like different topics and in a way, I will say different languages inside of these 12 topics. Languages, different languages in the sense like each one of them use different words to express different ideas. So you need to get familiar in order to understand them. You need to get familiar with the way they structure or they use certain words, certain language. Geshe Michael has been working as a translator for many, many years, and he has gained so much experience. He's one of the best trained people to do this work in the world, and he's training other people to do it, to preserve this ancient wisdom which is benefiting so many people. So every Saturday, every morning, we get together. Every Saturday, every morning, we get together and have these wonderful, wonderful classes. If you ever want to join, there is a QR code you can register, and it's a wonderful class time. We get to learn about language. We also get to learn about content and how to translate it, how to get great ideas out of this text. So, see. Next one, please. And what they are doing in order to spread the ancient wisdom and in order to also fundraise for this amazing project is this new Good Night Reading Club, where if you sign up, you get the chance to get some of the books they are already translating. So there is a very cool thing going on beyond it, because you get these books and then there's a whole system of like, you're supposed to not use your electronics at night. You get a suitcase, like a suitcase for your computer, for your phone. You're supposed to put them aside and instead taking a book. So I've been trying and it's very, very cool. So I really recommend you. If you are in Asia, you can use a QR code. If you are somewhere else in the world, there is another QR code. And yeah, you can talk to your local organizers. So next picture, please. Can you in the tech table help us with the other picture? Hello? Gracias. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so here you can see some of the local organizers. There are the QR codes, or you can contact them directly, talk to them, get to know them, ask them what's coming up with the books. And yeah, but if you want to give yourself this chance of learning and at the same time preserving this ancient wisdom, this is a great project to do. And next, we want to let you know about the Diamond Cutter Press. Oh no, before that, actually, in Mexico, on Friday, some people from Guadalajara are organizing the Good Night Reading Club Latin America, and they decided to do a release on a book they're going to be using. In English, it's called Eastern Path to Heaven, but in Spanish, it came as Jesus Teachings and West Asia, East Asia, sorry. So anyways, you can check it out if you're interested for that. Talk to Flavia. There is the email. You can get more information, and they are going to be doing some advertising for this Book Night Reading Club in Latin America. And then I was telling you about Diamond Cutter Press, where you can find many of the books the mixed translators are doing these days. They're already translated. You can find them there, use the QR code, many, many books there. And just recently I got to hear there is another website you can use called, next one please, Oak Tree Translation Books. Yes, and these mostly specialize on the Asian region. You can check it out. If you're in Asia, you can use this QR code, check about the collections they are advertising and promoting. So here just sharing, giving you access for it. Okay, next one, please. Okay, so what's happening? A few events that are coming up. Very cool teachings coming up in April in Diamond Mountain Retreat Center, Bowie, Arizona. So lately we hear the in-person spots are already full. That means it's like a good retreat. Everybody wants to go, but you can still attend online. Or maybe you can contact them and see if you can still camping, or if at the very last moment one of the spots gets available, you can check it out. But here's the QR code, and then you can plan. April 12th to 21 is gonna be 21st is gonna be a retreat in Arizona. Geshe Michael Roach is gonna be teaching on it. Retreat is the title of these teachings coming up. Okay, so next one, and this is the section on Diamond Mountain. Then they are also having an event on the fall time, October 11 to 20. Right now, those are the dates. If you cannot make it this time in April in person and you really want to go, and it's a great place to go, really, it's very, very wonderful place. Just the energy there, the people there, being live. There is something very special about being live. So if you can make it live and you want to, I really recommend it. You can plan for October 11 to the 20th. Next one, please. So if you haven't yet figured out how to be there, there is a special project they are doing called Dogs in a Row for Retreat. And it basically means you're gonna start planning ahead how you can have the time, the money, and all the traveling permits that you need in order to make it. How we're gonna make that happen? We're gonna be planting the seeds. Supposedly the only real way that things can happen, right? So we're gonna be planting the seeds for that to happen. And if you wanna participate either as a sponsor or supporter for someone else, or you wanna be the one who receives the help, you can use the next QR code that is gonna be on screen. And ¿le puedes picar, por favor? Thank you. There is a QR code. You can participate in this project in either side of the, either side of the coin, I guess. Next one, please. They are also letting you know that Diamond Mountain is also working in this wonderful project Oasis, which is planning to turn the land into very, very rich field that's going to support many families in Bowie. It's a very nice project that's going to impact many families in Bowie, Arizona. And as well, they are supporting the Apache people in the land. We have been showing some videos about it lately. So if you are interested in supporting some people who's trying to preserve their lineages, their own traditions, you can use this QR code as well, or get more information using the QR codes. Thank you. Now, in another news, we are also letting you know that the Three Jules is organizing a retreat March 8 to March 18. Hector Marcel and Rachel Webb are organizing these retreats. They are getting very successful. Many people who have gone are very happy about these retreats, yoga meditation retreats, philosophy retreats. If you ever have the time, if you have the money, if you have the interest to get to meet with them, these are great retreats. In Panama, beautiful retreat. And then if you cannot make it this time, in June, they are producing another one in Costa Rica. So just letting you know, you cannot complain that you didn't hear about it. Here we are. Next one, please. We want to also thank very, very much to DSEU, because they are producing many, many cool events. They are about to have some good events in Kyoto. If you ever wonder, like, what are they doing? What's their mission? What are their goals? You can use the QR code to visit their website. This is just a quick mention to thank them for everything they are doing, wishing them a lot of success. They just had the first anniversary a few months ago, and we just want to thank them and let everyone know this is access for their website. You can get to know more about it there. So next one, please. And lastly, we want to talk a little bit about a very cool project that Geshe Michael and Veronica Roach are doing. It's called Michael and Veronica Foundation, Michael and Veronica Roach Foundation. And what they are trying to do is support many, many, many good projects that are happening all over the world. So also, if you want to get to know more about this project, well, we're going to have Nurin a little bit later. We can talk a little bit about this with her maybe, but you can use the QR code and register for their newsletter mailing list. So use the QR code and then you're gonna start getting information there. We want to wish you both, Geshe, Michael, and Veronica, a lot of success here. And I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Hey.
Yay, thank you. So these are the news happening these days. I mean, there are many more, but just keep presenting them. Again, we want to invite you to attend the Shuangshan Translation Project, Shuangshan Tower Translation Project, every Saturday, every Monday. There we also keep sharing some news to keep you updated. Okay, next, for now, we're gonna start with some of the interviews, and the very first one of them is gonna be Ward Smith sharing with us about the art of listening. So if Ward is there and the tech table could help us, if you can spot and welcome Ward with us. And then Geshe-la Daniel, you're welcome always to just jump and ask questions to the guest. Ask them if they are gonna donate, whatever you want, doesn't matter. Just so let's see, is Ward around? Dun, 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 dun.
It's kind of early.
Maybe.
Yes, Juan, I'm here.
Okay, great, great. Good to see you. You're gonna get a spotlight very soon,
Okay.
I'm sure. Tech table reports that you need to turn your camera on before we can do the magic.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. Thank you. That's awesome, Ward. I don't know how you do younger every day.
I don't know about that.
I bet it's the Chinese herbs.
They're helping. They're helping.
Yeah. So how are you doing? Very welcome, Ward. Thank you very much for being here with us.
I'm doing very well.
That's great. I just want to let people know a little bit of Ward. You probably know him. I mean, come on, he's worldwide famous. But he's one of the main translators of the Mixed Nuts translation, Shuangshan Tower project. And he's working especially with this mind-only text and books, which happen to be one of the most difficult translation books that Geshe Michael, wow, there it is, the golden key. So Ward, not only that, but he is very into the practices of the subtle body, yoga asana, dancing, watching cartoons, and medicine. So here, and also Ward, the reason why we decided to invite you is because I really believe you are a very good person on like a very sensitive person when communication comes around about, you know, when we're talking about communication, I think you have like a mind who notice many things on how you deliver a message, how it's received, how you process that. So for me, it was very interesting to hear a little bit about some advices that you've seen on how to use communication skills for your personal and professional daily life. So you were talking about the art of listening, and we will be very happy to hear what you have to say about that.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Juan. So yeah, I've been practicing communication skills for a very long time. I don't know why, but as a young kid, like I was very drawn to learning to communicate. I really wanted to really deeply understand what people thought, what they were saying, and I don't know what I did in my last go around. I don't know what Joe did, but for some reason I have some talent for it. And I would understand what people were saying sometimes, even when they didn't. And I don't know, my parents noticed when I was a kid. And and I've been exploring it ever since. So I want to talk about the art of listening because I feel like A lot of people want to be good speakers. They want to communicate well. They want to be able to bring their message into the world and help people using whatever they've learned. But I feel like what gets missed and is the crucial piece to really get your message in the world is to really hear what other people want, what they feel, what they're thinking, and the challenges that they're having. Because overall, you know, if we're in the business of translating, doctoring, you know, anything where we're serving people, we're basically attempting to solve people's problems to whatever degree we're capable. So if we don't really know what their problem is or what they're going through, you can't do that. And there's kind of nothing worse than having a problem and someone helping you with it. That's kind of more annoying than the problem. You know, so we want to listen to people, and that takes some skill. So I have had the fortune of being trained, I have medical training as well, almost exclusively like Eastern types of modalities, Chinese medicine, as well as Ayurvedic medicine, as well as modalities which are considered Western, but are more on the alternative medicine side. And most of those modalities emphasize really watching, understanding, and deep listening to your client slash patient. And so in that vein, I've had the opportunity to be trained in like various types of assessment, diagnosis, and almost all of them use keen observation. And they say that when it comes to communication, we like to think our words are impactful, and they are to a degree. But actually, what's more impactful is tone and body language. And so, which, you know, so you can be very clear. You can have this message, you can have a speech, you can have a teleprompter telling you what to say. But if you look, you know, project and intonate in a certain way, people will get a completely different message. A very famous example was the 1960 presidential debate, actually, Nixon Kennedy. And in it, people who watched on TV said Kennedy won, and people who watched on radio said Nixon won. And it was this turning point in the history of media where, you know, the visual aspect had to be taken into, I mean, Kennedy was better looking, okay? But the visual aspect had to be taken into account in a way that it never had to before. And of course, nowadays, that's, you know, everybody knows that with videos and social media and all these different ways of getting your information out there. But even on a one-to-one basis, it's with your partner, with your children, with your students or your teacher. It's super important how we hold ourselves and watching how people hold themselves. So largely, I do listen to people's words. I'm very particular with words. Anyone who knows me for 5 minutes, I'm correcting their grammar, and it's annoying. Things like that. But I also really watch closely, like, how are they sitting? How are they looking at me? Look in their eyes. You know, they say the eyes are the windows to the soul, something like that. And it's true. I don't know about a soul, okay? That's debatable. But you can see the twinkle. If people are interested in what they're saying, there's a little twinkle, you know? If they're not, there's a dull look or like boredom or I don't know, nigh death. You look like, when is this going to end? So we need to really look at people, pay attention, you know, and this is where our meditation practice and our practice of, love comes in actually, because we have to care. If you don't care, none of this is going to happen anyway, you know? So you have to care enough. to tune in with people. That's the big thing. You're tuning in. You're not even just doing like a blanket like observation, right? Like a computer or something. You're tuning in. And there's a level, which we're going to cover in my upcoming course, by the way. There's a level of being able to actually like kind of feel what people are feeling. It's a kind of empathy, a kind of resonance. They say the face makes like thousands of thanks Hasso, thousands of micro movements when you talk to somebody, and babies learn at a very young age what all these micro movements mean. And so, you know, sometimes I'm like, hi, how are you doing to somebody? How do you feel? You know, and they're like, good. I'm like, no, you don't. Like, no, there's a joke. My Chinese medicine teacher was a master of this tones and body language and stuff. And he would make these jokes. He's like, yeah, when someone's really mad at you, they go, hi. No one does that. Even if they want to fake it. And maybe if they're like a
Only Leonardo DiCaprio.
okay. Yeah, maybe if there's some kind of sociopath or something. But otherwise, people can't fake. It's really hard to fake your face. It's really hard to fake your body language. You know, you have to be a very, very well-trained actor or con artist to do that, right? And it's rare. And so how people, their face, their breathing, their body language, it's going to show exactly how they feel. And you can learn that. You can learn to tune in with that. And if you do, if you take the time, and it's just, you don't have to read a book, although there's books. The FBI studies this very deeply so they can know if someone's lying when they're interrogating them. Other, you know, law enforcement agencies, right? There's a Daniel Goldstein, I believe, has an amazing book about emotional intelligence that talks about the micro movements of the face. There's resources, but it's more just connecting. It's more looking at Juan. See, look at Juan. Juan is whatever's going on. I don't know what he's doing, but he's happy. Okay, he's satisfied. His life is going well. He's happy with the program. Look, see.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, I am, but could be better.
That's different. That's a different
Yeah,
problem.
yeah,
You need other help for
thank
that
you.
one. But the idea is just at a glance, you can learn to feel what people are feeling and then serve them, as well as interact in a more healthy way, because people really want that. They want to connect. They want to learn from each other. And it's hard to do that if they don't feel listened to. People tend to shut down if they don't feel listened to.
So we should be emotionally intelligent, but not too intelligent so that you don't listen. You gotta get it out, even if you figured it out on their face 5 minutes before they said it, right?
Yeah, don't say it to them usually. They don't like that, okay? Just go along with it.
Hey,
So
Word,
that's
I have a question for you.
yes, Ken.
Like, if you're talking to someone and you realize that your mind is wandering,
Mm-hmm.
like they want to talk about, they have a problem and they come to you and then you realize that your mind is wandering and you're not really focusing on them. Like, what are the steps to bring yourself back?
That's an amazing question. Thanks, Ken. There are some steps. I mean, if you're in the seed system, the first step is people aren't going to listen to me, so you better tune in somewhat. And nobody likes that. So you can start there. You can also, yeah, just think why you're talking to that person. You know, we talk to people for them too, right? So how are we going to connect with this person? So you really have to connect with them. And then we can Sangtupa, say Sangtupa. We have to think, well, I don't know when I'm gonna die. I better love the people around me now. I better connect now, you know, and that seems maybe morbid or something to a beginner. I don't know, but it's true. You never know your last goodbye. And we should really think to ourselves, okay, now or never. let me connect. And sometimes it's appropriate to say, hey, I'm interested in what you're saying. I really love you, but I'm distracted. I have a million things going on. Can we set up a different time, where I feel like I can really connect with you and spend some quality time, even if it's a few minutes of focus time rather than this distracted thing from us running around so much. So, yeah.
So thank you very much, Ward. I always think like this. Then once we start, we realize like so many people have so many cool things to say. We could keep going, but I think it's also a very great opportunity to listen to many more people and to see what we can build out of this particular program. So I think we're going to be adding pieces to the puzzle. And by the end, hopefully, we have a very clear idea on how we can apply tools. Thank you very much for sharing. Maybe once more, Gina, could you help us sharing the course that Word is going to be giving? So now, Word, if I understand correctly, you're going to be including some of these topics that you just mentioned in this particular program, because even if it's supposed to be about medicine, communication and subtle body language communication, how you speak, how you use your energy, it's all connected to the general, how do you say, overall health, well-being of a person. So I think we're gonna learn more about this. We're gonna learn more about you soon, Ward. Thank you very much for being here with us. And I just keep encouraging people to sign up. Check it out. Let's see how it goes.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Ward.
You're welcome. Bye.
So now we run a little bit, how to say, further than we thought with this. So we are a little behind the schedule already, but Daniel has something. Maybe Daniel, you can still share with us. I'm just how to say, reporting what's happening, but I'm not proposing that,
Yeah. Well, I have a little segment next, right? So I can always share
Amazing.
it. So it's easy. But so I kind of I decided it would be helpful, I think, to give some definitions to what is miscommunication, and so I decided that it would be nice to go over 4 common ways to miscommunicate and also talk about some of the problems that you might see in your world as a result of it. So for me, it was a miscommunication that was happening, and I wanted to fix it. So 4 common ones of it are verbal, right? Most of our communication happens verbally, and so there's one called lying. There is another one that's commonly known as divisive. I want to call it divisive communication, because you're still communicating, but it's in a way that's harmful. There's another one that we call harsh, and that's basically when you're speaking in a way that is bad words. It's hurtful to other people. And then the last one that I want to talk about is called idle talk. Okay, but first I'd like to approach it from the perspective that if you're seeing problems in your world, like for example, no one's believing you, or you're having when you're speaking, even if you're speaking truthfully, people don't believe you, right? And so it comes from giving somebody a wrong impression about what you've seen. So lying can be defined as basically that, giving somebody a misimpression. And it's very difficult, honestly, to give a perfect impression. But, this is the seed that you would have to plant if you wanted to have better communications, right? So the trick is to understand, I would say, for all miscommunications, is that even if you get something good out of miscommunicating, it's not coming from the miscommunication, right? So for example, actually I want to say that lying, it has to do with your motivation, right? Whether or not it creates a bad seed, because there is an exception where, you know, if you do it out of love, then it's okay. Like if you're going to tell a lie to help somebody or to keep somebody out of trouble. But the key to that is to not lie to yourself about your motivation, okay? Because if you're lying to yourself, then you're actually going to plant more seeds for more ignorance. So you just have to be honest with yourself about this whole like motivational thing. And so that's a little bit about one of the miscommunications, which is common, which is called lying, giving a misimpression. Another very common one is called divisive. And so this basically is saying something to get people further away from each other, you know, and it could, and this one, you could actually be telling the truth and it could still be divisive, right? So it could show up sort of like hinting something about somebody else, which is maybe you know, a negative quality about them, and that, you know, you're trying to basically separate them. And I think one very sophisticated way of calling this is venting. So I think often you say, well, I was just venting, you know, but you just complained a whole lot about somebody else, and it could have easily planted a picture in another person's mind that would, you know, give them an image which is really just coming from your own seeds. So unless you're venting about what you did in the past, then really it's just a sophisticated way of speaking divisively. So I think we should just try not to be too sophisticated and just be honest with ourselves sometimes. So then there's another very common way that we can use our speech. And again, actually, these are considered speech, but if you can't speak and you're using sign language, then you could still collect all of these karmas, even though they're commonly considered part of speech. But so anyways, another one would be harsh speech. And it's interesting that you could actually be using sweet words, words that could be defined as sweet, yet you're still collecting, you could collect the seed of ill intent, you know, like, because if you're being sarcastic, for example, with somebody and you say, oh yeah, that was amazing, but they know that you're saying something bad about them, then that is going to plant more seeds for more miscommunication in your world. And some of the common problems you might see from harsh speech is that if you hear a lot of unpleasant things in your world, or when people talk, it always seems as if they, you know, they want to start a fight with you. And I think I need to work on this one. You know, I'm very quick to, you know, I think I figured it out, and then I speak and I cut somebody off, and it's not very nice, even though my intention was to help them. So, you know I get something from my intention, but you have to kind of tune in, like Word was saying, you have to tune into other people, and you know, out of love, try to put yourself in their shoes. And so then one last really common way of creating the seeds for miscommunication is often called idle talk. And one way to collect this would be to communicate without any kind of clear intention. And I think a very sophisticated disguise for this would be, oh, we're just catching up, you know? And so then you spend a lot of time basically just talking about nothing. And you spend a lot of time planting the seeds so that you have more miscommunications. And in the future, you know, you might have to see no one listens to you, or no one respects what you say. Maybe they think that what you say is of no value. So if, you know, these are just some tips, some kind of definitions on how to communicate better. So hopefully this can be another piece of our puzzle towards our goal to help everyone communicate a little bit better. So hope that helps.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you very much. It's interesting to actually try to apply these 4 principles in our daily life, and to pay attention on how actually they have a big impact, a big effect in our reality, right? Like if let's say I will say, like, if we don't have any training, if we haven't think about these things, we may fall into the mistake to believe that these kind of the ways we speak, the way we communicate, don't have an effect in our life, right? But once we start checking deeply how reality works, then we start seeing that every little single thing, every movement of our minds, that energy we use, is going to have an effect, a ripple effect that is going to be bigger and of the same kind of how say quality or nature that we did. So having this in mind, these four very useful advices on how to use wisely our words, think can have a deep effect in our life. If Geshe-la, you want to add anything to it?
Oh, I'm just thinking about I'm working on a book with Seiji right now, and I'll talk more about it later. But I think there's a big theme about using problems as a path and trying to look for new problems that you can get involved with. So usually we tend to, if we're having trouble speaking with somebody, we tend to avoid them. And then I think the peacock approach, the real good person approach is if you're having trouble with someone and you're having trouble communicating with them, then you go and look for them and you try to make contact with them instead of avoiding them. You try to make contact with them and talk to them. And I was thinking when Daniel was describing those four, I was thinking about that. Back to you, Juan.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And we're
I
excited
just
to hear
want to add
more
real
about
quick that it's a good thing, I think, to remember that, we're sitting here talking about the negative side, but we should rejoice that we can talk about bad communications, which means we have this incredible seeds from having communicated very well in the past. So, even if we have bad communication, we have communication, which means we're okay.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So speaking of the consequences or results on the ways we perform or interact with others, we perform our communication, we have a special segment with a special guest that wants to share with us some of these results that can happen when we do it well, when we don't do it so well. So I want to welcome Chloe, because I was at, how to say, I was informed that the way I was pronouncing her name was not the correct English way. But hello, Chloe, how are you? I used to call you Chloe, which kind of I like. That's the way in Mexico we say Chloe. But how do you like it better, Chloe or Chloe?
I like how people speak my name with their hearts.
Oh, you're in the clear, Juan.
All right. Thank you for being here, and we'll let you share about this. How do you call it? Results, because the other day you were sharing with us at the Peachtree Cafe, and I thought, like, wow, that's content is amazing. So I'm very glad that you came, and we are excited to hear what information you collect for us.
Thank you, Juan. Hi, Geshe-la. Hello, everybody. Thank you for letting me share something. I've been really interested in the correlations of karma. And thankfully, we have these books. So I got some little presentation for everybody. So success and harmony through communication. So I think this is a lot to do with what to do, what not to do, like Daniel says. So let's start with what not to do. And we have a great source from Geshe-la and Dr. Wu is from All the Kinds of Karma. I love this book. I have this in a digital version. It's like my fortune telling book. I search for a keyword and see what's the correlation. So like what Daniel mentioned, I'll go quickly through these root verses on what not to do in terms of speech. So lying, and thank you, Gina, for making all these beautiful art available for us from the stone. So lying, what if we do this, this creates the bad deeds of lying comes back to us as we feel pain in our mouth or throats, or we have a odor in our mouth, and where we are constantly being deceived by others, even if maybe they're telling the truth, but we don't believe them. So in our success and harmony, we don't want this, so we want to stop doing this. And this divisive speech, the negative karma of divisive speech will make us live in places covered with rocks and stones, unpleasant for our feet. And then it also comes back to us as a lack of harmony among our followers, our workers, where they split into opposite groups. So this is what Daniel earlier addresses too, like we want harmony, we don't want divisive speech. So this is almost the opposite side of harmony, right? And then harsh words. So the harsh words creates these lots of dust particles in the air. I remember in Beijing, we had this big sandstorm where the whole sky is covered with yellow, just dust everywhere you can inhale easily. So I think that might be, this is the very hidden cause. So the same deeds come back to us also as unpleasant sounds and unpleasant sights. So that when we want to have a clear mind, we want to touch the diamond world, we need to create an environment that's quieter and that's more pleasant, so we can all think about these for us and others around us. And useless talk, where it comes back to us as we have lots of canyons and ups and downs, and the road is not even. And it also comes back to us that we have no credibility around the people. So this is important for people in business too, where you want to create this trust with your partners. You do business with, especially with building new partnerships and markets and clients. So by doing less user talk, you can actually create more trust in your business relationships, therefore create success. Also apply to your home life. So now we go into harmony. I really like sharing this word. I'm since the New Year show, I'm into Chinese calligraphy now. So this word is saying, if you want to follow me, it says 家和万事兴. So that means 家 is home, harmony. 万事 means like everything or 10,000 of things. 兴 like blooming. So that means the harmony in a single family creates success and harmony in the entire world. We use this a lot for the countries. The country is blooming and successful if we all have our own family, our own unit of community, our own school, our own company that's working with synergy together. So I think this is very, very cool topic that we're talking about this. So now I want to ask everybody, you can put in the chat, what do you think harmony creates? What is the correlation of harmony? We talk about how to create harmony. Now, what's the harmony as a cause creates? I see peace, being kind, joy, more harmony. Nice. Calmness, peace, nirvana, more productivity, more productive. Oh, I like that. Thank you, Gashela. Concentration. Nice. I want to share with you. You probably already know this. It keeps our teachers close. So there is a correlation
That's
of
very
harmony.
productive.
Create among communities. Sorry, this English is the one. Creates the long life of our teacher. So the harmony in the Sangha, in the community, creates long life of our teachers. So I would really like to ask people here who would like to share how are you creating harmony in your community, or what are the ways you've been doing and you see success.
So are we supposed to say something or you're reading the chat?
Super support. I would like to see somebody share, like, how would you like to create harmony in your own community? Maybe Aldo.
Hi, Chloe. Hi, Gashela. Hi, Daniel. I was thinking, Chloe, of like the more subtle seeds, communication, it's like interchange of information between individuals. But I was thinking the more subtle seeds of our thoughts regarding to others. And sometimes we forget and I do it like automatically. Sometimes I judge or I criticize subtly with my mind. But I was thinking what would happen if every exchange of my subtle communication with my mind will be like thinking thoughts of love or wanting, just when I see someone, thinking that I would really love to see them like achieve their dreams and to don't have any obstacles in their lives, and just having like constant thoughts of love and well-being for others, I think will be very powerful change in our reality and very powerful seeds to see more harmony in our world. Yeah, I was
Thank
thinking about
you.
that.
That's nice. I think when you dislike somebody, even just in your own heart, people can feel it. You know, the silent judgment, or how to say, feeling annoyed or something. They can feel it without words. So they say 90% of the communication is through non-verbal ways. So we really, from every side of it, I agree. So I see in the chat, people shares, create a cafe where different kinds of people can meet each other. That's nice. And Natalia says to feel what the people around us want. Yes. Iriwar, practicing six perfections. Anesthesia, support each other. I think we're already doing it by doing this exercise where we bring ideas together, we share how to apply harmony in our own community. Thank you for...
Thank you very much, Chloe. Thank you. I say Chloe again, but that's okay.
It's from the heart.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing this with us. And actually, now that you're talking about how to create harmony, we want to introduce something very cool that just happened, and Geshe-la knows about this. Geshe Michael gave a project a special mission, I will say, to one of our friends here in Mexico, and we want to share a little bit about that. We have a special video we want to share with you, and it's about communication. And it's hey, where did Chloe went? I thought Chloe was helping us with the segment, but anyways, thank you very much, Chloe. Thank you very much, and we're gonna show this special video with you about this project a friend of us just did. ¿Puedes poner? ¿No? Ah. Pues ni modo. ¿Cómo? No, pues. No, pues. Here is a video. We are having some technical difficulties. Let's try one more time because the audio is not working very well, but if you can play it anyways without audio, then it's okay. And I explain, it's very short video. It's just 1 minute video and I tell you what's happening. So we will try one more time with the video. Okay, now it has the audio.
Then turn left. Turn left. Then turn left.
Alex Rivas, how are you?
Hi, Riva.
Hello, Van. Hello,
Alex.
everyone.
Good to
I'm
see
really
you.
good.
So we want to hear, can you tell us a little bit about what is this about? Like we saw you in the video going to school, then collecting some letters from the kids. Can you give us a quick description of what is this about? And then we will understand why it connects to communication.
Yeah, there they are. Those are the letters Geshe Michael is showing. I collected
Wow.
86 letters from 86 kids from this like really poor school, and I even had to walk because my car almost broke to get to the school. It's a really bad place like to live even, but I was experiencing like a lot of conflict and here in Mexico and like people don't having enough, and I was always trying to help with that, you know, and but I was not, my mind is not enough, and I asked my teacher for help, like what can I do, what seed can I plant? And then this project started. I went to this really poor school to ask the little kids for letters of how would they end war. They wrote there how they would end the war in like in the world, and they wrote these beautiful things, you know.
¿Puedes enseñar las cartas? Rivas, we lost
One
you.
girl wrote,
Oh yeah, good. Now we hear you
can you
again.
hear me?
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, and one
Ahead.
girl wrote the 4 steps, and I could go to that school because they are helping kids with writing. This is a project where, because those kids, a lot of them don't know how to write, and then this project came exactly well to them because they are starting this project of communication, that the importance of communication and writing, and I talk to the kids about the importance of writing, that I am a translator, that I am translating things that have like 500 years or 1,000 years old, and then if they write something right now, they can help someone in the future. And I think that was really beautiful, that experience. Thank you, Geshe Michael, for giving me that experience. It was beautiful.
Thank you very much. Actually, it is true. We have a letter of a kid. Geshe was showing it on screen. It's very interesting how there was a girl who basically, in a little slightly different words, but basically she did wrote the 4 steps. It's amazing how even the 4 step at the end, she say like, and don't worry, remember to don't worry and be happy about what you're doing and don't take it too serious, enjoy. It's unbelievable. So thank you very much, both Geshe and Alex Rivas, for having done this. I think for the kids, it's going to be very meaningful experience, but also for all of us, it's like a great opportunity to rejoice and to get to understand a little bit more what they have in their minds. And even like for any of us, just thinking about how will we end a war, I think it's already planting very powerful seeds. It's actually step number 1 and step number 2 on the 4 steps, which are already like a very important process on the whole sequence of things. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, both of you. And next, well, thank you, Aldo, also very much to come. He was here, Aldo, to let us know about, just to remind us, if Gina could help us share the screen real quick, about the Latin America upcoming tour that they are organizing for 2024. It's happening. We don't know exactly what month yet, but it's happening for sure.
This fall.
This fall is
Yes,
going to be happening?
this fall. Yeah.
Amazing. So you want to invite people to what?
Yes,
To
please.
come and
If,
support?
yeah, and if there's someone there in Latin America that wants us to visit, please contact us. We'll be going this fall to different countries. We wanna include one more country, so we're thinking about Peru. We're organizing it, we're cooking it, and we're gonna go deeper. We're planning about doing small retreats there, and we're very excited. So this next fall, we're gonna continue with the tour.
Amazing. Thank you. And also, we're going to have a special event here in Mexico on July the 26th, the 28th. Geshe is going to come to visit Mexico, and you can come as well. So you can sign up there in the QR code. Check it out. Aldo is one of the teachers, organizers of these retreats. So it's a guarantee. It's going to be cool. Geshe and Aldo, come on. It's 100% guarantee. So check it out. And thank you very much, Aldo. Thank you very much,
Juan.
Alex Rivas.
Thank you, Geshe. Thank you, Daniel.
So we have our next guest waiting for us, and it's none other than Mr. Tim Lowenhop. Are you there, Tim?
Yep, I'm here, Juan.
Woo! Where are you? Oh yeah, that's wonderful. I recognize that place.
Hola, Tim.
Yeah, it's called my home.
So tell us, Tim, how do you live in your personal life, in your professional life? I think you are one of the busiest persons that I know in Sedona, Arizona. Well, to be honest, like pretty much everyone is in the same level, but I have to say that about you, right? You're still one of the busiest people, but also you do it in a very successful way. I think somehow you are very good at keeping calm, communicating, deliver messages. You handle a bunch of people in your teams. So if you could give us some insights and just advices on how do you use this communication concept, personal and professional life? How do you do it?
Where's Rob?
Oh yeah, I mean Rob is there.
Let's spotlight Rob.
Yeah, let's spotlight
Get me
Rob.
off the
Come
screen
on.
and put Rob on. There we go.
Woo!
So, hi, Rob. Not. um, I was thinking about this actually yesterday, Juan. What is it that, it's interesting when you ask me about communication, because I think there's times when I can communicate well, and then there's times where I'm just a total disaster. So it's weird that I was like, well, what is it? When am I a disaster? And when am I guess, good at it, if you're going to compliment me. And I really think what happens for me is I think a useful place to start is that edge of when you're not able to communicate. Like when you're afraid to say something, or you're not able to share the messages that need to be shared, right? Because there's some kind of other negative emotion attached to it. So I think the first thing for me has always been to, when I'm having a difficult time saying what needs to be said, like, maybe I get frustrated with a situation, or I have information for somebody that's uncomfortable. Because oftentimes when you're running organizations, you have to say things that are uncomfortable, because people need to know what's going on, or there's some conflict between staff members, or there's just information you need to say, right? It's like, well, there's some bad news, guys. We have to figure this out. So I always look at the first, like, what's the obstacle that I have? Like, what's the uncomfortable part? And then I immediately try to do the opposite. I do the 4 powers, and I look for things that are different. So if I'm feeling shy, or if I'm worried about hurting somebody, that's coming from a different seat. It has nothing to do with the message I'm sending, right? Because you can give bad news and everyone celebrates. I mean, not always, but like, there's no reason why bad news has to create a certain reaction. Because sometimes people cry, sometimes people get mad, sometimes people don't react at all. Or sometimes they go, yeah, you're right. So the reaction to the bad news is not related to the bad news. But the worry that I have about the reaction is a seed that I can focus on. But another thing that I do want, which I think it's powerful, but it takes a lot of time, is actually just giving time to people when people are struggling, when they're having difficulties with their own negative emotions. How much space can you hold for them while they're in that? So then when I have to do something uncomfortable, maybe the seed of comfort might rise. I hope. That's the hope. That, giving that space to people, to take the time for others. I wrote this down yesterday. Take the time for others to do whatever it takes to help them. And sometimes that can be a long time. Sometimes that can be years. But if you're doing that to help people find that comfort, then when you have to say uncomfortable things, maybe uncomfortable won't rise. Or maybe you'll feel more confident about it. And then the third thing I thought about, Juan, is sometimes I have information that people need to know. It's just they need to know it. And if I can separate the emotional part from it, this is just more like a general practical advice. If you have something that somebody needs to know, then you can just say, well, whatever happens in that, I'm here to support them. And they just need to know this. So you find a way to say things kindly and gently. and just say, hey, I have something you need to know. And I'm here with you in this process. And if you're upset about it, or if you need some time to process it, or whatever that is afterwards, if they know that you're there with them, then it can soften the blow, right? It can soften the message of it, because then it's not necessarily about you, it's about helping them, because then they know something that they can do something with. They have that actionable item. So those are 3 things I thought about when you asked me to do this one.
I have a question, Tim.
Sure.
So, or maybe it's an observation, and I wanted to get maybe like your feeling about where you're at with this, but I'm in this like weird transition of my life where I'm going from wanting to be a hustler, kind of like my past work life. And then this weird thing that happens, I think, as leadership, as you mature, is listening more.
Mhm.
So like, it's like 15 years ago, I sat with Michael Gordon, who was the founder of Bumble and Bumble. And he was doing a movie about his mentor, Vidal. What is it, Vidal Sassoon, I believe, right? And I was at his home, and he just, I don't know, here's a multimillionaire, super successful guy. And he just asked me questions and listened the whole time. He didn't speak like a lot. And when I left, I was so moved by it. And so I find myself in this weird space where somewhere balanced between wanting to like, say what's the most important thing I want to say, or let's get it done, to also listening. And so how have you found that? What have you done in like your work, kind of like life? Has that something you come about for you, or is that transitioning happening, or is that a balance that works for you, or, things like that? Or is it not happening at all?
No, I think I actually, Master Shantideva seems to be a theme that's running through all of the courses that I've been listening to lately. And I'm actually teaching some Shantideva. And the other day we were talking about Bodhisattva, the peacock warrior burnout. Like, I gotta plant the best seeds, and then you just, right? And you just barrel through it. Right. And then you don't take care of the peacock warrior themselves. Like, you're so tired, you're so worn out, you're not able to then serve, right? And so I think there is a balance between doing, like, just doing, right, hustling, as you said, right, just get it done. Right.
Yeah.
But I think I've been struggling with this too, because I've had some burnout, in the last year and a half or so. Just too much, right? There's just too much pressure that I put on myself. I don't think anyone else did. But what I started doing, just more consciously in that, is it doesn't mean less stuff gets done, but how do you give those other jobs to, like, if you're feeling tired, how do you trust other people to do those things too? Like, and so then you're cultivating the next generation or the next round of people to do the work, right? And then you have to spend the time with them, I think. And sort of what I said earlier is, yeah, you listen a lot, but you're inspiring them to do that job, right? So and then they'll go through all their negative emotions, probably the stuff that you went through, or they'll reflect back to you the stuff that you still have to work on. But I think the listening, really listening to people, what are their needs, what's going on for them, and then putting your arm around them, say, hey, I'm here with you. Then they start walking, and then they start running a little bit faster in front of you, and you're like, oh, good. It's like you put them on the bicycle, right? Like, you took off the training wheels and you're just holding onto the seat, and then they just keep moving, and you're like, oh, and then enjoy it when they ride faster. Right.
Yeah. How about you guys? You might have any questions for Tim on the subject? You're muted.
Of all the people I know, I think Tim communicates very well with people and doesn't get upset even when disasters happen. And I wonder, what's your secret that you don't get upset when disasters happen? You don't seem to get, you mean, you might get upset for 1 minute or 2 minutes and then you just, you know, very peaceful after that. So I wonder what's your secret? How did you learn that? Because normally I think people learn it in their life, earlier in their life, but I met your parents. I don't think they taught it to you, but maybe.
um, well, I think three things. One is my dad did teach this to me. He was about my age, so he was about 45 when he taught me this. He had, well, I'm sorry, he was about 55 when he taught me this, but he told me he realized it at 45. Right, because I was only 15 when he realized it. He realized that getting angry wasn't going to solve the problems. And he said he was building so much stress in his life that he realized his health was suffering, his relationships was suffering. And he said he realized every day he woke up and he was still alive. Right. And he said the problems are going to come and the problems are going to go. And somehow it shifted for him. And I always remember him telling me this, like, you're right. The problems are always going to be there. That's one thing. I think the second thing is I probably learned this really early on in the steps on the path. Is like, it's just as negative seed ripening. Somewhere in the past, I must have done this in some way. Great. Wow, what a jerk I was. Cool. And then I go, all right, let's not be that jerk anymore. Like, and it doesn't mean that I don't feel it. And I think the third thing is about feeling it. Like, if you do feel upset, or there is, I had it was really uncomfortable kind of, disaster is not the right word because disasters are worse than that. But, I had a big transition a couple of weeks ago, and it really, it set me off. Like, I wasn't grounded in it. But I just decided to feel it. Okay, well, what emotions are coming up? Oh, I'm angry, I'm upset, or I'm hurt. Then just feel it. But also knowing when you're feeling it, that the feeling is coming from another seed, right? Because that disaster happened, but I could have been happy about it. I'm actually happier about it now than I was. I'm actually really happy about it. But the reaction to it's not coming from the thing. So knowing that the seeds are ripening, and maybe it's going to take a week to feel the whole feel. Okay, well then feel the whole thing, but don't put it back don't replant it. And then at one point something shifts and you go, okay, what's next? Because life is too short for spending too much time wallowing in the negative. Because, I'm 45 but who knows what can happen when I'm 46. Like, I don't want to, if I have another motorcycle accident, right, which I'm not going to do, and get back on it. But, that could have been worse. The next one could be the end at 46. And I want to enjoy between now and 46. And then I want to enjoy from now to 47 as best as I can.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. That's great advice. Hey, Juan, what do we have going on next?
We have here Bob with us. Thank you very much, Tim. And I'm sure he can add some value to this conversation, because he was talking to me. Hello, Bob. Welcome. Thank you very much for being here. The other day when we were talking, I was talking to you, Bob. You were mentioning about this very cool idea on how to adjust the message that we want to deliver depending on the audience. And you were mentioning something like learning to speak the other person's language, or deciding what's good for them to hear, or the way it's good for them to hear it, even more important than exactly what I want to say. So I was just wondering, what are your thoughts on this topic, on how to deliver successfully, how to communicate accurately and create a good impact in our reality by doing so.
Cool. Thank you so much, Juan. Hey, Geshe-la. Hey, Rob. Tim, thanks for your nice messages. Definitely resonated. Yeah, there's two big ideas that I wanted to share today briefly. And I want to have an image for you guys to remember. So I think we have an image. It is in English, but we can translate it. So whenever you're ready, tech team, go ahead and put that image up. But the first thing that I really think about when I'm trying to have somebody understand me is that I seek first to understand them and then seek to be understood. And this is from Stephen Covey's book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think that we're so quick to be like, me, understand me and what I want. But in communicating effectively, I find that the first most important thing to do is to understand the person that you're communicating with. And so for me, this is whenever I feel me about my communication, I just have this one sentence in my head over and over again. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. So we can take the image down now. But I think that in a cause and effect analysis, the point of communication is that somebody understands what we're saying. And so what's the cause of that? Understanding them. And so, and I heard Tim just talk a lot about this, which is really empathize and be compassionate with the person you're talking to, because then they can actually connect with you on a seeds level. And then the second part of that, so the first is seeking to understand, to then be understood. So then the second part is, it's not about what I want to say, it's about what they can hear. It's not about what I want to say, it's about what can they hear. So again, communicating from this place of, this is my message. It's what can I say so that they can hear my message? And I'm bilingual, I speak Spanish. And the Spanish that I learned was in the farmland of the Dominican Republic, which is a very different kind of Spanish. And so I found when I speak Spanish, people are like, man, where did you learn to speak Spanish? And I said, I learned to speak to illiterate farmers in the Dominican Republic. That's my Spanish. And so it sounds a little different, but that was what I needed to learn how to speak in order for people to hear me. And so those are the two messages that I wanted to share. Number one, seek first to understand, then to be understood. And the second is speak their language. Okay, thank you so much. This is a great segment, and I appreciate being here. Thank you, guys.
Wait, Bob, I have a question.
Oh, yes.
So when you're sort of like interacting with somebody, just what does that look like when you walk up to somebody? Like just, whatever, like you're walking to get something to eat or something like that. How do you sort of like, what's that look like when you?
Oh man, that's such a great example, Rob, because I do this all the time when I go shopping.
Yeah.
So the clerk, the person who's checking me out, how's their day going? Do I understand how they're doing right now? Because I'm trying to get my clothes, I'm trying to get my food, I'm trying to but how's their life today? Literally in this 10-second interaction, how can I show up totally in love with them, yearning to understand what tiny thing I can do to make their life better today, just in the 10 seconds. And then whenever I say, oh, and by the way, can I get an extra bag, or whatever it is that I want, if I can deeply empathize with them, then it's much more successful engagement.
Yeah, you're great. I watched you travel. You're an excellent traveler. And I think your great quality is that you're curious. And that's what I've noticed when I watch you. You're like a super curious person. I think that's sort of like, I was just wondering, if I could follow Bob around for a day, what does that look like at the grocery store? So I can imagine it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, Rob. Great question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob, very much. Thank you, Rob, for being here with us as well. Bob and Rob. Thank you, Bob. No, thank you very much. I think, Bob, you're also a very, very great communicator. I always admire how well you can compose and structure your messages, and you use very elegant language as well. Great to hear these advices from you. And yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to be here. We'll see you sometime soon. And at the same time, we are welcoming our next guest, which is Noor Ibrahim Arao.
Good
How
morning.
are you, Noor?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I'm feeling better. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be with you today.
That's great. Thank you for taking the time as well. And I mean, you were talking to me, you were telling me you guys are organizing a very cool event, which I think happens to be very connected with all this theme, which is impossible anger. So could you talk a little bit with us about this upcoming event? And then maybe if you feel like you could share maybe a few of the tools that you've been learning with this
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, thank you so much, Juan, for the invitation. Before I start, I would like to thank the translators. I see them on my screen, and I believe it's hard work to wake up and just translate. I thank you so much, and I appreciate your work. Actually, when Juan invited me to come to Peach Tree Morning Show, I was thinking, what project shall I promote? Maybe I should talk about the foundation or about the peacock parenting. But then, because we are in the middle of SCIM, Sedona College of International Management, and we are having just short break before the next academic session, which is about anger. I thought it's the best to spot the light on this training, because if we think, I mean, when I start thinking about harmony, I think that anger can destroy any kind of harmony. It's in my world, in my collection of seeds, which are great because I have my teacher, I have my passion, but also I have a bunch of seeds that reflected anger and war in my life. And it's crazy to see, like, even kids, my son now 3 years old, and he started to make this voice like when he's when he's upset. And I said, oops, oops, we need to do something about it. So I believe if we know how, if we learn how to stop the anger before it grows to become an enemy for the heart and for our good seeds, actually, that would be great skill to learn. So that's why I'm excited about the next academic session. Also, it's going to be a DCI level later on in the year, I think in April. It will also, we'll have the event, not only the training. I know I'm short in time, and if you ask me what the best things I can share with you from Impossible Anger, please come to the course. There are 12 life tools, a lot of information. Geshe-la did great job in putting together the manual, and all the teachers are doing their best to teach it. Thank you so much, Geshe-la, for that. I think what I can share in these 5 minutes is the stages of anger. I don't know if you all know, but Master Shantideva explains that we don't go angry like boom, like this. We go through 4 stages. They are short. Don't get expectation. They vary from seconds to minutes, maybe a few minutes. But if we learn together the stages, we know consciously to take action to stop them. Because what I learned with the seed system, it's empowering because it makes us take ownership about our life, meaning I decide to create harmony in my life. One tool is to learn to watch my anger. Geshe Michael yesterday said something very nice I want to share with you. He said the seed for anger is anger. The seed for negative emotion is the same negative emotion planted in the past. Meaning, if we stop this repetition, we are on the right track. So let's go through the 4 stages of anger. First one is when we lose our joy or when we start to feel like we are not happy. Second one is when we get upset. Third one is when we really start to get angry. And the fourth one is resentment. So the main thing I would like to invite you guys to contemplate about it is to start when you notice you are losing your joy. It means it's an alarm. It's a sign, say something might go wrong. I'm very ready to explode. So take a walk, change your atmosphere, and know that you are. I hate to say kill, but in this context, I think it's right to kill the anger before it starts. You give him you hit the killing point when you start by diffusing the anger in the first or 2 stages. There are more, and I'd like to share more, but I know my time is limited. If you are interested, please sign up to SCIM 10, and we will learn how to help people to fight the anger. If we can learn and teach people how to do it, I think this will plant great seeds for harmony in life.
Thank you very much, Noor. I was
My pleasure.
just talking with the Peachtree World News Board, and we decided next show is gonna be 5 hours. No, just kidding. No, I'm just kidding, of
3
course.
hours for me.
Be a
But
marathon
no, the
fundraiser.
thing is, yeah, the thing is like we have luckily, right? We have so many good friends who have so many interesting and meaningful things to say. So, you know, like it's a great thing. It's a great thing. I also would like to keep hearing more about what you were sharing. You were just giving us the very core of the, you know, of the content. So thank you very much. Thank you very much,
My
Noor.
pleasure.
It's
Thank
great
you
to
for the
hear.
invitation.
Yeah, it's also
Hey,
good to.
Juan,
Yes, yes.
just one more thing. So Noor is the president of the Michael and Veronica Roach Foundation, and the purpose of the foundation is to give away money.
I'm up.
So if anybody has a project, a small project, big project, like they supported this project to have the children write the letters in Mexico. And in the last 3 years, they've given away almost $1 million. And if you have a nice project, so usually on this show, usually whenever you see Geshe Michael or Juan, we are asking you for money, but now we're asking you to take the money. So
Great.
So Noor has a very pleasant job to give away money. If you have a small grant or a big grant, you have some project, talk to Noor. Okay.
Sure. We'll be happy. Even for the letter project, I'm happy to help.
Yeah.
Okay. I will leave my email address here so you can reach out.
Thank you very much. I
Thank
actually just signed up to the newsletter following the QR code,
Wonderful.
and I'm excited to hear
Thank you.
more news about it as well.
Wonderful. Thank
You
you so
know,
much.
some people say half of my job is to be nosy, so I have to be signing up for everything I can just to see what's happening, kind of thing. So thank you very much, Noor. Thank you
My
very much
pleasure.
for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thanks, Nora.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Now, our final excitement segment. We have no other than Geshe Michael here with us, and he's gonna share some minutes with us here, sharing very cool content. So thank you, Geshe, for being here. Thank you for supporting this program. Thank you for teaching us. Please stay. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful to have the great luck to be able to share and spend some time with you.
Cool. How long do I have?
You have, well, the program finished at 9, so you
What?
finish whenever, oh,
8
sorry,
o'clock
I'm in Mexico,
Arizona.
8 o'clock Arizona. But this is the thing, you can present as long as you want, and the extra time we can do Q&A.
Okay, I'm thinking to do 15 minutes. How's that?
Perfect,
Okay, and then we can do Q&A for 10 minutes, something like that.
beautiful. Thank you very much.
Okay, is it possible for me to share a screen or not really?
We'll
Okay,
fix
don't
that.
worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, now, according to the tech table, it's good to go if you want to.
Okay, I gotta get my hair. Okay. I don't see it, but it's okay. So this last few months, I've been working really hard to help finish Seiji's book. Seiji's been translating for about 8 years. He's been translating a book called The Crown of Knives. And this is a very beautiful book written 1,000 years ago. And there was a teacher named Atisha, and he was invited to go and teach in the Himalayas in West China. And he, he heard that those people are a little bit, they are uneducated. They are mostly nomads. Mostly they know about sheep and yaks. And his teacher told him, that's not going to be an easy trip, to bring this great wisdom to a new country and teach those people. You're going to have a lot of trouble. It's going to be not easy, and are you sure you want to go? And he said, yeah. He said, okay, I can go. And then Tara told him, if you go, your life will be shorter. You will lose almost, I think, 15 years of your life. You will die younger. And are you sure you want to go? And then he said, yeah, I'm happy to go. I will go. And when he got to the Himalayas, he taught a special book called Lojong. And Seiji's book is one of the most famous Lojong books. And this is a kind of book that was very popular for about 500 years. And it was for just those people are farmers and those people are business people. They are not monks, nuns, they are not religious people. They just wanted to have something practical that they can use, like the Peachtree World News Show. They wanted something that they could use in their normal life. And so Atisha taught them Lojong. And I was trying to, we finished the translation. The translation is over 600 pages. It's very, very beautiful. Hi, Maitri. Hi, Maitri. It's a very, very deep translation, very, very beautiful translation. If you read the Diamond Cutter business book, a lot of that book comes from Seiji's book. So 25 years ago, I was using Seiji's book to write the Diamond Cutter business book. And DCI came out of that book. So really, Seiji's translation of Lojong is one of the books that started all of our projects, all of our worldview projects started from that book. And this is the advice that Atisha got from his teacher to take to this new country where nobody knows anything. And those people were also very violent people. The early Himalaya countries, West China, they like to fight, they really like to to make wars and things like that. They were like a little bit crazy people. And so Atisha took this book and it was called Lojong. So I was studying for the introduction. I thought to find out the history of the Lojong, you know, who was the first Lojong? What are the important Lojongs? And I thought also I want to write something about the meaning of the word Lojong. You know, what does this word mean? Many of us, we talk about the word Lojong, but we don't know what's the meaning of the word, you know. And I heard many strange translations, you know. It's called, some people said mind training or something like that. And I thought, wow, that's a strange translation. Mind training sounds like brainwashing somebody or something, you know. And I thought that's a strange translation. So I tried to find where did the Lojong start, you know. And I checked. And I came up with, I think there are 6 or 7 steps to how the Lojong came into this world. I think you can say 6 or 7 steps. And then one of the most famous Lojong is called the 7-part Lojong, 7 different parts to the Lojong. And hi, Maitri. And if you're studying, if you go to the Steps of the Path courses at Diamond Mountain or in Kyoto, you can. We are reading this book. Also, the Mexico team, Aldo and his team, the Latin American team, they were teaching it in Guadalajara. They were helping us to teach it in Guadalajara. So I was curious, where did this Lojong start? And I was studying the 7-part Lojong, which is one of the most famous ones. And I found out it was secret. It started, it probably started about 1,200 years ago, 1,300 years ago. If you guys know, those of you guys who are studying in YSI, and you are studying the great books, the ancient books of yoga, this is the yogi. His name is Virupa. And he lived about 13 centuries ago, 1,300 years ago. And I always wondered why his name was Virupa. And then somebody told me V means bad. So VI can mean bad, something wrong. Rupa means how does your face look? And Virupa means he has some problem with his face. He has something wrong with his face. And in the Himalayas, they call him Birwapa. They don't pronounce it correctly. They say Birwapa. And then I study his face. Why his face was strange. He has a third eye. He has a third eye on his head. And so people called him Mr. Strangeface, Virupa. And he started Lojong. So he was one of the first Lojong writers, you know, and in history. Of course, many people will trace it back 2,000 years ago, but Virupa started that time. And I checked this 7-part Lojong. It was designed a long time ago. So, you know, in the recent times, it was taught by somebody named Chekawa. And he only lived about, I think, 800 years ago, 700 years ago. So it means for 500 years, at least, maybe 600 years, Lojong was secret. People kept Lojong secret, you know. And then I was really curious, you know. And if you can put in the chat, you guys, if you have an idea. Why is Lojong secret? Why to keep it secret? And why to keep it secret for 400 or 500 years? They pass it down. They call it a single lineage. The teacher will only teach it to one person, and they pass it down secretly for 500 years. Noor says it's inner work. Somebody else said maybe the students are not ready. Chloe says maybe it's too powerful. Han Pen says it comes from my seeds. And somebody else says people wouldn't understand the teaching. I'll give you my idea, okay? And, Noor and Seiji, they have a special parenting program, how to be a good parent. It's called Peacock Parenting Program, PPP. And they are, I think we're gonna hear this year, we're gonna see some programs from them about how to be a good parent and how to use Lojong to help teach children, how to teach your kids, how to bring up your kids, and why we keep it secret for 500 years. I was curious, and I traced it back. I was curious, how did Atisha learn Lojong? How did he first learn Lojong? He's the one who brought it to West China. He's the one who brought it to the Himalayas, but he kept it secret for a long time. And I was really curious, and Noor maybe can appreciate. In the Lojong tradition, especially Seiji's book, the peacock is very important. Peacock means there's a tradition that peacock likes to eat poison. Okay, a very strange idea in ancient times. So in the ancient times, they said, why does a peacock have such beautiful feathers? Many birds in the world. There are many different kinds of birds in the world, but the peacock, their feathers are unbelievable. And by the way, in the Silk Road, of course, the important products going to Italy from China, from Xi'an, from the capital of Tang Dynasty, Tang Chao, the important products going to Europe were silk and paper, gunpowder, and ceramics, what we call China. Nowadays, we still call it China. And these were the important products that were going from Asia to Europe for 2,000 years on the Silk Road. But one big product was peacock feathers. And people like to sell peacock feathers. The kings like to wear a peacock feather. And why it's so beautiful, why does it have those colors? And the ancient scientists are just as silly as the modern scientists. They are both silly. And they said the peacock's color, it comes because they eat poison. They know how to eat poison. And some plants, which other people eat, if the other birds eat the poison plants, it will kill them. But the peacock can eat those poison plants, they can digest it, and it makes them more beautiful. It actually makes them more beautiful, So I was thinking about this example, and they say what it means for us when we're talking today about communication. I have a neighbor, he's causing me some trouble, he's messing up part of my property, and he drove his big trucks on my property, and he ruined part of my property. And I have a neighbor, and I'm thinking I have to talk to him, you know. And it's a little bit. I'm afraid to try to communicate with this person. I think he might be a difficult person. And then Atisha will say, "You will use lojong, you know, just use the lojong." And then I thought, what's a lojong to Atisha? What does it mean to Atisha? And there's an ancient story. There's a very beautiful story that he was in Bodh Gaya, which at that time was called Vajrasana. It used to be called the place of the diamond. And he was there, he was doing pilgrimage. And there's an ancient book, it's 1 page long. And it says Atisha heard 2 ladies talking. There were 2 old ladies talking. And he's like listening to what they are talking. And one of them said, "What do you think's the fastest way to reach total happiness, total success? What's the fastest way?" And the other old lady said, "Lojong." You know, the other old lady said, "Lojong." To develop your mind, okay? They called it Semjong, to develop your mind. And then Atisha got curious, you know, and that's how he started to learn about Lojong. And Lojong means train your mind, training your mind. And there's 2 different kinds. There's 2 different kinds of Lojong. And the first one is to train your mind to have love for other people. You know, you should love other people. You should try to help them, try to take care of them. That was the first kind of lojong. And the second kind of lojong, that's why there's 2 ladies. The second kind of lojong is to understand that the people you're trying to communicate with are coming from you. You are trying to communicate. It's like you are trying to communicate with your hand or something, you know. When you have communication problem with other person, actually the other person is part of you. Then lojong means if you want to have a good communication with other people, then understand they are coming from you. Like the pen, you know, the other people are like the pen, and they are coming from you. The first kind of lojong is to be nice to other people. The second kind of lojong is to understand they are coming from you. And if you understand that, then when there's a difficult situation, when there's a war, when there's a fighting, when your neighbor is causing trouble, then the lojong person will enjoy that situation. They will look for this situation. They will have fun. They'll say, "Oh, my neighbor's causing trouble. Oh, there's a war. Wow, then they need a peacock, you know. Peacock should come there, you know. The peacock goes to the dangerous place. The peacock goes to the poison plant. The peacock enjoys communication problems. And the peacock loves this situation. When there's a problem, the peacock is like, wow, I want to go there, you know. That's where I want to go. And my theory, okay, I'll finish, okay. My theory is why the lojong was kept secret for 300-400 years. I think that people weren't ready for it. People weren't ready for it. Lojong teaching says when there's a problem, when there's a war, when there's fighting, when there's any kind of problem, then the real peacock, they will go there. They will eat the poison. They will look for the problem. They don't avoid the problem. if there's a communication problem, if two people are fighting, then the peacock enjoy to go there and wants to do something to help, and they can eat the poison. And I think we have to be ready before we eat the poison. I think not everybody can do that. I think if you eat the poison too early, probably you get a stomach ache. I think so. So anyway, Seiji, that's my theory why it was kept secret for so many years. The main teaching in the 7-point lojong is how to make opportunities from problems. How to make opportunities from problems. There are many lojongs in that 500 years, secret 500 years. There's many lojongs. I studied them. There's 28 famous lojongs. And I study them. The one thing they all say the same is that problems are an opportunity. And the bodhisattva, the peacock, they like problems, and they go where there's problem, and they enjoy to play with the problems, So that's all. That's what I'm working on nowadays. Seiji's book. It's a very interesting question why it was secret for so many years. And I think we are very lucky to have it. It's going to be a beautiful book. And of course, we will use it for for one of the next DCI levels. All right. Little bit question time, Juan. 5 minutes, maybe.
Okay, so I
You
guess
choose. You choose.
yeah, I will encourage people to send their questions in the chat. And I mean, there is little time, really. That's what I was saying. Like the show should be 5 hours, but it's just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Everyone will go asleep.
Yeah, if they are not already. No, I'm just kidding. No, thank you, Geshe-la. This is very, very cool. Here I'm with some of my friends in Mexico, and we were all like saying, "Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that." So thank you for sharing and for keep teaching us. And please keep doing it. Please stay. Thank you so much for all the help and support you give to us. So I will encourage people to type some questions, and I'm sorry if we can only choose one or two. But thank you also, you audience, for being here and participating. So let's see if someone writes something in the chat. Well, there's a very cool question here, actually, from a very good friend as well. And it says, how does one how do we determine if someone is ready to hear lojong? Like, what's how do you measure? Like, oh, you're ready. No, you are not. Yes, you don't.
I think Juan, it's a very difficult question. If I am the boss of the lojong teachings 1,300 years ago, and I have to decide, do we make it public or do we keep it secret? How to judge? I think it's are people ready to understand the pen? Are people ready to understand the pen? Because lojong has 2 parts. Lojong means develop your mind, and it has 2 parts. One is, of course, to get the love for other people, to develop love for other people, and treat other people equal to yourself, and care about other people as much as you care about yourself. That's one meaning of lojong. But the second kind of lojong, and they always go together. The second lojong is to understand that those people are coming from you. Those people are coming from you. Those people that you want to treat equal to you, they are actually coming from you. So really, lojong means, do you agree to treat other people who are already you as good as you treat you? Okay. And that takes a very intelligent person to understand. Are you ready to treat other people equal to you? Because they are you. They are already you, you know. So I think they are looking for a special person who can understand that. And maybe it's kind of difficult for people. And I think that's why they keep it secret for a while. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Geshe-la. And I don't know, should we do one more or just
One
cut it?
more. We got
Okay,
1 minute.
one more. Well, I could put two together. One, it says, do you think equalizing an exchange helps our world situation? I guess it's, if we do this practice of equalizing and changing one another, maybe I will take it as how can we number one, can we expect some results in our world? And I will add this like, and how fast could we see these results? And in the same way, another friend is asking, what did you do, Geshe-la, in the situation with your neighbor? I don't know if these two are connected, but thank you.
Okay, good. I think equal and exchange, by the way, it's in the Lojong. It's a big part of the Lojong. And equal means equal right to happiness. Everybody has equal right to happiness. So it's not that I have more right to happiness than other people have less right to happiness. And I think exchange, equal and exchange means, okay, there's people in the Middle East, they are starving. There's people being bombed. There's people that were attacked. And then same in Europe, there's every day there's people getting killed, innocent people, just children and family people. And it seems like it's far away. I'm living in Arizona. We don't have these problems. We don't have any of these problems. We have too much food. And then should I be a peacock? Should I get involved? Should I get involved with these other people's problems? Do they have equal right to be happy? And should I get involved or not? Should I do something to help them? And I think the answer is, of course, we should do something to help them. I think that's what Noor's project is doing. Noor's project has helped many, many people in many countries that are affected by war. And I think we all have to get involved. We have to eat the poison. And the peacock doesn't stay at home. The peacock doesn't close their ears, in China, they have somebody named Guan Yin, yeah? Guan Yin. It's Avalokiteshvara. Avalokiteshvara means looks down, sees everything. And the Chinese translation, Guan Yin, means the one who hears everybody's problems and likes to hear everybody's problem and like to help them. So I think practically what we can do is reach out, do something to help them. Don't sit at home. Don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. About my neighbor, I was walking home. I was walking past this land which he messed up. And I was walking with my wife, and she said, what if we just give him this little piece of land, the right to use it, And then I said, how long? She said, forever. What if we just give him the right to use this little piece of land anytime he wants to use it? Then I was like, wow, that's such a good idea, And then at that moment, the neighbor came in his car. He came past us, and I stopped the car. I said, stop. Then I said, me and my wife decide you can use this land anytime. And we'll even make a contract to let you use it. He said, how much? I said, free. He said, okay, agree. And then he offered to help us with one of our projects. And so you know, now he's helping us with one of our projects. So it's really cool. It's really cool. Okay, Hasso, back to you.
That's wonderful, Geshe-la. Thank you for sharing the stories. Thank you very much. We want to just say thank you to all of you who attended this program. It's a great time to catch up, to get to hear what our friends are doing, get to hear about the news, get to hear some cool content and ancient wisdom. Thank you very much. I have one here too. Yay. So cheers to all of you. Hey, yay, cheers to all. Thank you very much to all of you also who support and help us creating this program, all the translators, all the tech table, the people who develop content, the guests. Thank you, the guests, also for being patient because we are trying to get better with the timing. Geshe-la has their
Hey,
just,
Hasso, I got my
yes.
last night I got my book club book.
That's awesome.
I
What's the white package?
I signed up for the Goodnight Book Club, and Lindsay is the big boss, and she gave me my book. And in the white package, everybody who signs up, you get this Shensong Tower book.
Oh.
You get a beautiful congratulation letter, and you get this amazing book.
Awesome.
And that's everybody who signs up for the Goodnight Book Club, if the book is allowed in your country. Okay, cool.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, and that's great. And then, so we're gonna leave by thanking everyone, but also encouraging you to sign up for the book, the Good Night Reading Club. And we're gonna show you once more, just before you can escape, we're gonna show you the QR code for
Hey,
the,
hey,
yes.
Juan, there's a joke in Rimrock.
What is it?
They say first it was the Goodnight Book Club,
Uh-huh.
and then somebody was busy, so they call a short name. It's the Good Night Club. And then I think it was Rob Haggerty say, let's make it shorter and make a nightclub.
That sounds good. Maybe that's what Rimrock needs to fundraise.
Yeah. Peach Street Nightclub.
Yeah, the Beach Tree Nightclub is a daytime coffee shop, nighttime nightclub.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, right. If you know, you know. Okay. So maybe we can plan to make a party there sometime soon.
Yeah.
We'll
Yay.
see. That'll be fun. And in the meantime, you can register for the Good Night Reading Club. I actually signed up and then I got the books and it's wonderful. It's really, really wonderful. Those are the two books that the Good Night Reading Club is using at first these days, at least here in this side of the world, is the Door for the Diamond Way, and
Yeah.
also the Mind Only, the Golden Key, which happens to be translated by Geshe, Michael, and Ward Smith. So it's super, super worth it. Check it out. And then we'll see you next time. Next month, we have a monthly event in Picture World News, but also we have weekly events. So if you tune up on Saturday for the Shuangsang's translation tower, you're gonna get to hear more. So you're gonna be using the great books and you're gonna be listening of more news for the Shuangsang's translation project. See you next time. Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you,
Thank you, Rob.
Geshe-la.
Thank you,
Thank
Chloe.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you,
Thanks,
Daniel.
Thank
Dan.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Hasso.
everyone.
Thank you,
Have a good
Daniel.
day.
Have a great day. Thank
Bye.
you, Noor.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Chloe. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Noor.
Hey,
Thank
Juan,
you.
I believe the next one's from Kyoto. You'll be
Thank you,
there.
Alex. Thank you, Alex.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for the letters.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
That'll be awesome, Rob. You'll be there, so maybe you help me with the production. I hope so. See you later.
Bye.
Thank you, Alex Rivas.
Thank you, Juan. Beautiful show.
Thank you. And also Bob and Ward team, thank you for participating. Thank you, Noor. Thank you, Chloe, Aldo, Gina, Marina, Francisco, everyone. Have a great day or good night. Bye.